Let's take a look at the tail of the tape between Fortuna and Vasquez. Tail of the tape brought to you by Corona, who invites you to find your beach. Fortuna at 130, Vasquez 129. Both stand 5 feet 5 inches tall. However, a 2-inch reach advantage for the heavy hitting Fortuna. Vasquez says he's got a monster inside of him, but he only lets him out a little bit at a time. We'll see how fast he starts, because his opponent, Fortuna, says my strategy is the Tyson effect, as in Mike Tyson. That's how he wants to start in this fight. Let's go to our ring announcer, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Barclays Center here in Brooklyn, New York tonight. Premier Boxing Champions is live on Spike. And now, the action begins with 12 rounds for the Junior Lightweight Championship. Introducing first out of the red corner. He wears the red and white. His professional record is near perfect. 35 victories, just 1 loss, 18 wins by knockout. From San Jose, Costa Rica, introducing Brian El Tequipo Vasquez. And across the ring, out of the blue corner, he wears the gold and black as a professional. He's undefeated at 27-0. 20 victories coming by knockout from La Romana, Dominican Republic. Introducing Javier Abejón Fortuna. And the referee in charge of the action, Pete Santiago.
A 12-round championship fight. We'll be using the unified rules. No standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. The referee or the doctor can stop the fight. You cannot be saved by the bell in any round. And after 4 rounds, we will go to the scorecards if there's an accidental foul stoppage.
Ok. Ya lo explico la instrucción a los dos, ok, en el arco, ok. Quieren que me haga el respeto en la ring, ok. El respeto a ustedes dos, ok. Que estén buen pelea y yo lo bendiga a los dos, ok. Está bien, everything's good. Everything's good. It's too good, it's good.
Yep, all of the instructions in Spanish, as that's the native tongue for both of these men. Very little English from both of these fighters, but we hope plenty of action that is universally spoken. We are set to go in the 130-pound division for a championship. PBC on Spike starts now.
Okay, Bella. Box!
Fortuna, the southpaw, in the gold and black. The red trunks being sported by Brian Vasquez. Fight Clock is brought to you by the new movie Spy, only in theaters June 5th. Guys, the Tyson effect. Fortuna wants to come and throw bombs for the first 5 rounds.
But one thing about Tyson, he threw tight, controlled bombs. Fortuna tends to throw a little wild, can be a little reckless.
And Brian Vasquez is going to have his moments, man, because if he can punch those, keep his punches straight, he's going to punch inside of those wide and wild shots.
Vasquez told us he was expecting that, and so he expects to frustrate Fortuna, make him lose his cool, open up his chin for a potential knockout shot. Fortuna, as we said, undefeated, 27-0 and 1 draw, 20 knockouts in those 27 victories. That'll show you some power even at this smaller weight class.
Vamos, joven, no tire, suéltalo, suéltalo, vamos. Pero la cabeza. No, you don't tire. Vamos.
Remember, he's fighting a guy in Brian Vasquez, never been down in his career. Knocked out once by Uchiyama, who's #1 in this weight class, but was knocked out on his feet, never went down.
Want to let you know that 2 of the biggest names in MMA, Kimbo Slice and Cam Shamrock, finally meet in the Bellator cage. A stacked card which also features Patricio Pitbull, Bobby Lashley, and Michael Chandler as the action in the ring begins to pick up. Want to get your tickets? Go to Ticketmaster.com. That fight will come your way Friday, June 19th presented by Miller Lite.
You can see why Fortuna has had a lot of success, man. He throws these power shots from all type of awkward angles.
It may not be orthodox, but it's hard to see them coming. To kind of get around your guard, you don't see them, to kind of sneak in.
And he has knockout written on every one.
Champ, when you and I talked about this fight with Vasquez, it was either outside or inside. Too close to get knocked out or too far to get knocked out. He's staying right in the middle right now and he's paying for it.
Here comes some of those wild shots that we talked about. The final 10 seconds ticking down here in round number 1. Fortuna's trainer said he's like a horse at the Kentucky Derby. Well, they're out of the gate here in Brooklyn. Energy picking up in the crowd as they see a couple of sticks of dynamite have been thrown into the ring here with Fortuna and Vasquez.
One key thing at the end of the first round against the ropes, I don't know if you guys could see it, Vasquez was smiling. He expected this kind of fight. He's not surprised by the aggression of Fortuna.
Hey, Jimmy, it's funny you mentioned that because I was going to say he didn't panic when he was having those big bombs thrown at him, and that's the mark of a seasoned pro. He kept his hands up and he didn't panic.
Left hand maybe just past the defense of Vasquez.
No tire, no tire. Vamos, rompe.
And Vasquez is going to have to use those boxing skills, that experience, because right now you see the physical talent of Fortuna very fast.
And another thing for Fortuna, he don't always throw wide punches. You saw him just throw 2 straight shots straight down the middle, and they landed.
Hector Bermudez, that's the trainer for Fortuna, had talked that they would do body work here. Don't see a lot of that just yet by his fighter in the gold trunks.
Now, he ain't thinking nobody. He wants nothing but chin. He wants nothing but chin.
Let's see those whiskers early on.
Also, he likes that hands low kind of style, that Prince Nassim Hamed kind of style.
And you know what? There was a quick shot at the end of that break, guys, that may have been low. And there comes your warning from Pete Santiago, our referee.
Pete Santiago, a no-nonsense type of referee. Very good referee.
Well, that's what you need. If you saw his fight with Abner Cotto, that fight got very personal. There's some punches after the bell. YouTube that if you want a good laugh to see a fighter dive on a punch that didn't land, but punches after the bell, punches the back of the head. He can take fighting a little too personally, Fortuna.
Of course, he told us in the fighter meetings through a translator, no, if the other guy gets dirty, I'll stay clean. I'll stay
right. Fighters are outstanding liars. Ain't that right, champ?
Yes, you gotta be. You gotta be.
Awkward leaping shots. Looks very vulnerable to a counter shot, but so far his speed has saved him.
Right over the top, and I think Vasquez was able to counter. They both want to stand and say, I got the better of that exchange. Fortuna says, here's my chin. Vasquez comes in looking for it.
I think Vasquez is being very efficient early in this fight. I don't think he wants to throw a lot of punches in the center of the ring. He wants to wait till Fortuna's against the ropes.
So some showmanship at the end of round number 2. In the midway point of round number 2 as we start number 3. The interesting thing about Fortuna, he went into training camp for what was expected to be a fight a couple of months ago. Went into training camp in January. Thought he was going to have a 6-week training camp and then have a fight schedule, but this fight had been pushed back. His other fight had been interrupted at some point. His training camp ended up being 20 weeks, roughly.
Yeah, and I know as a fighter, man, that can be deterring in a lot of ways. It weighs on your mind. You want to get in there, you want to go to work. And the worst thing for a fighter is a long layoff.
One thing it does too, you don't know when to peak. Right. You don't know how to when to really turn around with the hard sparring, with the hard conditioning, because you don't want to wear your body out.
I'm a celebrity tweet. We were checking social media. Hit us up at PBC, at Spike. Rosie Perez, the actress, big boxing fan, big PBC fan. I know she watches everything. She's Dag, the Barclays Center is packed. And for the undercard, Fortuna versus Vasquez, Premier Boxing. Khan Algieri hashtag coming up in a bit. Rosie, thanks for being with us tonight.
I mean, to his credit, Javier, Fortuna has fought a pretty much controlled fight. You know, we don't see the aggressiveness, the wild looping punches that you would think. And he told us that he would be that type of pressure earlier on.
Seems to be picking his shots more than he has in previous fights. Like that.
2 shots, 3 landing for Fortuna. Vasquez fights back. They go to the center of the ring with a clinch and have a moment for a breather. They rejoin in the center of the ring as I remind you about Glory Kickboxing here on Spike. We return with a heavyweight title showdown as the champ, Rico Verhoeven, defends his title against Benjamin Adegbuyi. Plus a 4-man, 1-night lightweight tournament. It's Glory Kickboxing live next Friday, 4 o'clock Eastern, right here on Spike. Corner of the ring sees some action as the fists fly between both men.
And they're trading blows. And I tell you what, Vasquez has gotten Fortuna respect in here early on right now. He's got his respect.
A 5'5" fighter cannot throw more of a looping punch from the outside than we're seeing from Fortuna.
And he throws it with surprising speed. It comes almost from his hip, but it's fast, very hard to see.
And surprising accuracy from a looping shot. You normally think those straight punches be landing right on the button, but those looping shots are finding a way. They're finding home.
Good shot up against the ropes by Fortuna as we hear the bell in round number 3. Best round of the fight so far with both men landing scoring shots. We're back after a solid round number 3. The fighters come together to begin round 4. Again, Fortuna predicting in the days leading up to the fight, guaranteeing even a knockout within 5 rounds.
I'm not surprised because all of his knockouts have come before the 5th round and has, I think, 1 maybe after 5.
Yep.
So
he has 1 after the 5th round. 19 of his 20 knockouts, champ. 5 rounds or earlier. Pleased to be joined by our unofficial scorekeeper, Brooklyn's own Steve Farhood. Has it as a clean sweep through the first 3 rounds. 10-9 in each for Fortuna.
Suéltalo, suéltalo, suéltalo. No tire, no tire, vamos.
CompuBox clearly saying Fortuna, the more accurate fighter, through 3. The only caveat that Fortuna put on his prediction was, did Vasquez come to fight? He says, if he comes to fight me, as he raises his hand saying, let's get it on. He says, if Vasquez comes to fight, if he'll stand in front of him and bring the action as much as he gets, that Fortuna can have his way. What do you think of that so far?
Well, I mean, a lot of times you want to put that in your opponent's head and dare him to fight. Because a lot of times when a guy is running, it's hard to catch him. You know, you want a guy to sit still and let you hit him if you can.
Yep. Vasquez has been offensive in little spurts.
Right.
He's been contained most of the time. He's been tight. He hasn't opened himself up a lot, especially in the center of the ring. He's opened up against the ropes. That's smart.
And Jimmy, it looks like these guys have pretty much the same identical style outside of the long looping shots that, Fortuna throws.
There was a good body shot, I think, that got Vasquez to freeze for a moment, and Fortuna scored back upstairs. But Vasquez will still throw back.
I think Vasquez thought he would have his way on the inside in these close-range exchanges, but Fortuna has done very well on the inside. Hasn't been a punching bag when they've been chest to chest.
No tire, no tire, para la cabeza, vamos, vamos.
Usually guys who punch like Fortuna need a lot of range to get their offense going, but he's done very well in the pocket.
Yeah, it looks like he has quite a few styles, different styles, inside, outside. You know, that's what makes a complete fighter. You want to be able to do everything well. But again, I'm anxious to see, after 5 rounds, does this type of pace fall off, or does he keep that power late?
They stand toe-to-toe in the final seconds of the 4th round. A firefight breaks out as we go to break. All right, here we go. The guarantee round. Now, Santiago, extra instructions perhaps about how they ended that 4th round to respect the instructions. So, can you psych yourself out? Can you get in your own head with saying, you know, I put my mouth out there saying a 5th round or less knockout. Does Fortuna take any chances in this round?
He might take some chances. We might see a shift in this round as Vasquez, knowing that Fortuna's a front runner, might turn it on. Rounds 5 on, so this is going to be a very telling round.
And if we get any of that action that we just got at the end of round 4, this fight is going to be a beautiful fight if it goes further than 5.
Definitely emotion in this fight. So far, we've seen good speed, good physical ability, and a little bit of dislike in the ring tonight.
And I don't think Fortuna prepared, or not prepared, but expected this guy to fight him like this.
Guys, Vasquez is switching his stance now. He went to southpaw. He switched back orthodox. It looked for a moment. Let's see when they square back up. Yeah, he's back to southpaw. Whatever way you can get him off, I suppose.
Trying to show Fortuna different looks. You just wonder when Vasquez is really going to turn that offense on and trying to be the initiator.
Good straight right and a hook by Vasquez.
Usually we're seeing Fortuna initiate with that straight left hand, or that loopy left. Just like that, he loves to lead with it.
Cuba's tactical title holder, Arislandi Lara, battles hard-charging Delvin Rodriguez, plus undefeated heavy hitter Artur Beterbiev. Looks to keep his perfect knockout record intact. Premier Boxing Champions coming right back in 2 weeks at you in June 12th, Friday night, 9 o'clock, live here on Spike.
Saca la mano esa, vamos, no tiren, vamos, vamos, los dos, la cabeza, vamos.
How's Fortuna that has Vasquez against the ropes?
Vasquez put his hands down for a moment. I don't know if that's a smile or a painful grimace. He was defenseless for about a full second.
It sounded like he lost focus for a minute. But again, this guy has some solid whiskers. He's taking these shots.
Uppercut lands. And some of the damage being shown on the right cheek of Vasquez, who drops the hands below the belt here at the end of round 5. Round 6 scheduled for 12 in a junior lightweight title bout. Javier Fortuna in the gold, Brian Vasquez in the red. That close-up shot there gives you a little bit of a look at some swelling and redness starting on the right cheek of Vasquez as Fortuna dived back in for second helping and received some counters in return. Oh, and a clean righted look there with Fortuna's left completely down at his side.
Fortuna has a habit of coming in with his hands down. That time he paid for it.
And that's what I'm more curious to know. If he gets a little sloppy and open himself up to Vasquez straight shots.
So So there will be no 5th round or earlier knockout guaranteed by Fortuna. Fortuna's corner in the fighter meetings leading into this told us Fortuna will take the 6th round off after he opens up the throttle for the first 5 rounds, gather himself, and then try score more 7 through 9.
That is not happening right now. Fortuna's having to work in this 6th round.
Oh, that's a really sneaky straight right hand that Vasquez is throwing.
Both guys have thrown lead power shots to the body.
Vasquez, as you saw in Steve Farhood's unofficial card, gathering up 1 round. That would be the 4th. 4 rounds to 1 currently on Farhood's scorecard. Advantage Fortuna. 1 minute left here in round number 6.
This is where Vasquez said that we'll see a change in this action, and he's going to have to press or land something big to slow down Fortuna right now, because right now he's controlling the action.
Suéltalo, pelea, chico. Break. Ve la cabeza, chico. Ve la cabeza, los tendos, ¿ok? Vamos.
Yeah, there's some swelling, it appears, on the left eye of Fortuna. I need to see a little bit of a better angle of it. Fortuna has had eye problems in fights, even in fights that he's won, with bleeding and swelling. Something that Vasquez might be able to compile here in the back half of this fight. They break and hear the bell at the end of 6. The city that never sleeps, always on the move, and this beautiful new arena, the Barclays Center. You look at the champions in our sport, born right here in Brooklyn. What is it about the water and the heavyweights here? Riddick Bowe, Michael Moore, Mike Tyson, all hailing originally from Brooklyn. Vasquez getting Fortuna against the ropes. Fortuna wants to make sure everyone knows those punches weren't effective, however, a few did land.
Now questions remain. Can Fortuna keep the pressure on? He's not known for his late knockout ability. Vasquez, can he turn it on and start winning some rounds on a fading Fortuna? Those are 2 questions we have to answer going forward. This is round 7.
But why does he fade? It's not like he's not in shape, he's not in condition. A lot of time I know boxing can weigh on you mentally as well when you're not having your way.
Well, that's a big question. Maybe he won't. Maybe he can keep the firepower going. He's known in his career before as a front runner. Will that be the case tonight?
Right now he's doing a lot of moving, and I see Vasquez closing the gap. He's landed some shots in this round.
Right now, champ, you just hit my arm and you're pointing at him. I think you think Fortuna's slowing down just like we thought he might.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to see, could he keep it up, past 5, because he hasn't had a whole lot of knockouts, and it looks like right now, he's fading a little bit.
Maybe instead of round 6, he's taking round 7 off.
There you go. You may have also seen in that close camera shot we just had, Fortuna's efforting to keep that left eye as open as the right one. His cornermen have been working on that left eye, and you can see the swelling on both cheeks of Vasquez. Just evidence of all the damage being applied by both fighters who continue to keep the volume high through this fight.
The body language has changed for Vasquez. He doesn't have the same body language he had early on in this fight. Doing a lot of moving and running. This is Vasquez's round right now.
Suéltalo. Break. Vamos, pompe.
More action against the ropes. Vasquez eats 2, 3, 4 combinations. Back against the ropes they go. The crowd rises to its feet. Vasquez may be in trouble here as they get close and will break in the final 5 seconds of round number 7. Fortuna dives back begin for 2 more punches as the bell rings. Great crowd here in a great venue, Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. Thrilled that you are joining us here on PBC on Spike. Start around number 8. Fortuna had Vasquez in what appeared to be the biggest amount of trouble he's been in the fight momentarily there in round number 7. Another tweet here for you guys. Mario Lopez chimes in, one of the hosts of Extra, getting us all our celebrity news, watching his boxing as well. Friday Night Fights, entertaining opening bout on Spike, bombs away. I hear ya at Antonio Tarver.
What's up, Mario?
We just lost Antonio for the rest of the round. He's logging on right now to social media to answer back.
No, that was a very interesting round, man. I mean, Vasquez won 2 minutes and 45 seconds of that round, but Steve Farhood believes that Fortuna stole the round.
He threw some great punches at the end of that round, really had Vasquez in trouble. He showed he still has that offense. It might come in spurts now, but he can still put together those punches like he could early on in the fight.
You're exactly right, Jimmy.
Farhood's card currently has 6 rounds to 1 Fortuna.
Suéltalo, suéltalo. Suelta, suelta, suelta. No tire, no tire. Vamos.
More action against the ropes. 2 lefts got in there.
That sneaky right hook comes in just behind the ear. That's caught Vasquez consistently, especially against the ropes. He hasn't been able to see that punch coming.
And Vasquez has no business being on the rope with an aggressive fighter, power puncher like Fortuna.
Ve la cabeza, ve la cabeza. Oye, break, 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 break. Suelta, 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 vamos.
Get a little bit of a feel as to why Vasquez has never been knocked down in his career. He's taken quite a bit of punishment, quite a number of punches. His legs have stayed under him the whole fight so far. You know Fortuna, who's a proud man, wants to be the first to get that pelt on the wall to say, yeah, you're a good fighter, but I got you on the canvas. As he shuffles the feet, punches fly from both men at the end of round number 8. He raises his hands at the beginning of round number 9, scheduled for 12. Close fight in a lot of these rounds, according to Steve Farhood. Steve actually scored that last round to Vasquez. But still, on Farhood's scorecard, a clear advantage for Fortuna. And we have some tape loose, which will stop the fight on the left glove of Vasquez. Pete Santiago says, forget about the scissors. I got it. Let's go. There's Farhood's scorecard.
Vasquez may have won that last round, but it wasn't because of what he did. It was because of what Fortuna didn't do. I think he took that round off. He moved a little bit too much, and he didn't have to.
144 power punches landed by Fortuna in this fight, according to CompuBox.
One thing he does, which shows excellent experience, is that he flurries at the end. The last 30 seconds,
he does.
He's put together good combinations, stealing rounds fair and square.
It worked for Sugar Ray Leonard.
I knew somebody was going to reference that. I figured it would be you.
If you notice, we've been going slowly to commercial break because we've picked up on the last 15 to 10 seconds of action before the bell rings.
Even more than that straight left. I like the way that right hook sneaks in. Very good from the southpaw stance. I know you appreciate that, champ.
Yeah, no doubt.
And you know what? Vasquez has got some more tape loose on that glove. If that bothered Santiago earlier, he's got to notice this here and get that thing either taped up or cut off. Both gloves on Vasquez have notable tape hanging from them.
And I think I see it on both fighters, actually. And they have masking tape. I don't know.
Yep,
you need masking tape to keep from coming apart like that.
Or duct tape, which it appears
Duct tape,
that Fortuna has on his gloves. I fix everything at home with duct tape. That's why I know.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same basic concept.
You would just hate to see him get in a good exchange, and then the referee stops it or a guy get hurt because the tape is loose.
Right. Well, I'll spin it this way. Both fighters have tape loose on the gloves. The velocity with which they've been throwing all their punches is such that even the adhesion of tape cannot hold on. Yeah, it's good action. Sorry, everyone. Had to go for it there.
Perhaps the blazing hand speed is making the tape too hot. Go ahead, Scott.
Vasquez still trying to find a sustained offensive attack on a guy that's been slippery so far.
And Fortuna, not the wild man we kind of expected. Even later in the fight, he's had that consistent offense in spurts. He hasn't completely gassed out because of his aggression early. And flurries like this at the end.
Flurry at the end of a round. Terrific action these two fighters are providing here in New York City, where if you can make it here, you can make it into the 10th round. Welcome back, everyone. PBC on Spike, live from Brooklyn. That is New York native Chris Algieri in the red locker room, getting ready for the main event tonight. Well, we got a pretty sparkling 130-pound title fight going on between two men universally ranked in the top 10 in their division. Javier Fortuna in the gold trunks, so far outscoring on our unofficial scorecard Brian Vasquez in the red trunks. But both men have traded at the end of rounds. I'm not sure I've seen a fight with so much of the action condensed into the final 15 seconds of the round.
Well, they're starting out the 10th round blazing.
They are.
I think Vasquez knows he is behind. He needs to turn things around. Might be out of reach on the scorecards. He needs some knockdowns or a knockout. If he had a strategy of turning it on late, now is the time.
Most definitely, because he knows he has to be behind, and he's going to need a knockdown to change the tide in this fight.
Fortuna, even at 130 pounds, known as one of the better one-punch knockout artists in the sport. He's done it before, so don't blink and don't leave. It could happen any moment. He says that power is natural. Granted, he works on it, but said he's had it since he was a young amateur.
Vasquez is missing the spot, but as long as Fortuna has those wild punches, it gives Vasquez an opportunity.
Both men want a breather as they glance at range to each other. Vasquez steps in with a left.
They've been fighting really, really fast, so we know both of these guys are in great condition.
Which is interesting because Fortuna's camp questioned Vasquez's conditioning in our fighter meetings coming into this.
And we'll forget that because it's round 10. He's still in front of him, still throwing. Looks like you said, a little blood on around the right eye.
That thing, his eye finally opened up.
It's been a target of that loopy left hand this entire fight.
The blood appearing to go on the outside of the eye socket. I don't think it's affecting the vision just yet of Vasquez. Vasquez has that left eye. There's definitely swelling on the left eye of Fortuna. Good right hand connects by Vasquez.
The best punch he's landed all night.
Good fight, a good punch, but he couldn't follow it up.
No tire, vamos.
Fortuna is given moments with his hands down around his hips. He will go to the 11th. Round number 11. With the bell set to set these men back into action, I will let you know that while we were in commercial break, Pete Santiago, the referee, went over and informed the judges as well as us at the broadcast table that the cut over the eye of Vasquez was due to a headbutt. He said it was an accidental headbutt that opened up the cut on Vasquez. Fortuna starts number 11 the way he's finished many rounds with a flurry.
I'm impressed with his fighting ability, man, because he's been able to keep this pressure up and this type of stamina throughout 11 rounds. That says a lot for this young man.
Let's check out Steve Farhood's scorecard here. Clear advantage for Fortuna with just 2 rounds being credited towards Vasquez. 98-92 here in the 11th. Oh, and another headbutt caught him there. He got stunned. That was when they clenched there. Vasquez winced his eyes as if the top of Fortuna's head caught him on the left cheek. And there is some big swelling now coming on that left cheek of Vasquez.
It was already bad. That headbutt is going to make it worse.
I heard it click when they hit.
Opposite stances, both guys being aggressive, that's going to happen.
Vasquez just landed 2 nice straight right hands. Don't know how much damage it did, but he landed.
You can tell the gas tank's starting to trickle down on both of these men. When they separate, those hands are dropping straight down to the sides for a moment.
It's okay to have your hands down. I mean, you're away from danger.
Yep.
But Fortuna has his hands down in the, face to face with his opponent. Never a good thing.
You're confident in your chin strap, I suppose. It's your body, you take the risks. They keep throwing. It's less and less steam on them, but
combinations keep coming.
Yep.
And Fortuna always goes back to the footwork. He's always back left to right, moving around. It's not just about throwing. It's not just about keeping combinations going. He's staying mobile. That's important.
Very good legs on him. Very strong. And again, he got out to a big lead, and now he's boxing smart. He's still being aggressive, but he's not taking a whole lot of risks.
Vasquez showing the heart of a man who grew up in abject poverty in Costa Rica. This man didn't own a pair of shoes until he was 7 years old. Lived out in the fields, scavenged for food with his grandmother who raised him. And yet again, a flurry. These men have a radar inside of them that the final 10 seconds are coming and that they should throw. Into the final round. We begin number 12 as they touch gloves.
Both these guys fighting with a lot of pride. They've really put on a show tonight. It's been so fun to watch.
Yeah.
No. Vamos.
Yeah, now finally we get back. They've worked on the gloves on both men, on the tape on both men in between rounds. However many layers they are, still not being that effective. Santiago had to stop the fight just for a brief moment.
Will Vasquez show desperation in this 12th round? Because that's what he needs.
Yes.
He's being outlanded so far in round 12.
And Fortuna doesn't think he's got what it takes to hurt him enough as he loops his right hand in what he thinks is a victory lap in the final 2 minutes of round number 12. And he does it again.
It looks like Fortuna is just outclassing Vasquez, outsmarting him. And right now, if he go on to win this fight, man, you can't say enough about the fact that he beat a tough guy that only had one loss on his record, he may be ready for the next step.
One loss to the #1 fighter in the world at this weight class, Uchiyama. That says a lot.
Vamos. Lo tengo, okay? Vamos.
Final 90 seconds.
No tire, no tire, no tire. Vamos.
Dream come true tonight for Fortuna, man. I know how hard he worked. He put the work in. You can see he's still full of energy right now.
60 seconds remaining. Can Vasquez pull off a miracle? The crowd wants more action and less showboating from Fortuna. Fortuna says bring it on more.
Well, Fortuna could say, I gave you 11.5 rounds. What do you want?
Yeah.
And this is frustrating for Vasquez because right now, I know he's seeing his whole championship opportunity slip away from him, and it's a depressing moment right now. While you got a guy running around the ring and you can't catch him.
Those 2 punches went home, but didn't have enough on him to face Fortuna.
And don't forget the fact that Fortuna can still counter shot, still has pop in his punches.
10 seconds remaining. And there's the bell. We will go to the scorecards. File this one under we think we know, but you never know. We'll hear the official decision and then the main event still to come here on PBC on Spike. And you see that far more punches landed by Fortuna, according to the punch stat of CompuBox, and almost 200 power punches. The only thing that matters is the official decision. Let's get that right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your judges' scorecards. Your first judge at ringside, John McKay, sees the fight 116 to 112. While judges Kevin Morgan and Tom Schreck both see the fight the same at 117 to 111, all for the winner by unanimous decision. And now the new junior lightweight champion, Javier Abejón Fortuna.
And the Dominican did it.